Hey guys, this is Shalvi from Utkarshini with the second episode of our series International Agreements on Climate Change with Shalvi Singh. As discussed in the first episode of the series, there are several agreements that are signed by different parties or different countries to reduce the impact of climate change or to reduce the rate of those reasons that are causing or accelerating climate change. Today, we will discuss about one of those protocol. So, welcome you all in the second episode of our series where we are going to discuss about Kyoto Protocol. I guess some of you are aware with this protocol, but there are still many who don't know about such protocols. What is Kyoto Protocol? Well, Kyoto Protocol is an international treaty which extends the 1992 United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC, that commits state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emissions based on the scientific consensus that global warming is occurring and it is extremely likely that human made CO2 emissions have predominantly caused it. The Kyoto Protocol was first adopted by Kyoto, Japan on 11 December 1997 and entered into force on 16 February 2005. While talking about the number of parties or number of countries other than Kyoto, Japan, which involves in this protocol includes 192 countries. Those countries are European Union, Cook Islands, New and all UN member states except Andorra, Canada, as Canada withdrew from the protocol in 2011, South Sudan, and the US. The Kyoto Protocol implemented the objective of UNFCCC to reduce the onset of global warming by reducing greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere to a level that would prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with the climate system. The Kyoto Protocol applies to the six greenhouse gases listed in Annex A. And those gases includes carbon dioxide, that is CO2, methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, that is N2O, hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, perfluorocarbons, PFCs, and sulfur hexafluoride, that is SF6. The protocol is based on the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. That is, it acknowledges that individual countries have different capabilities in combating climate change owing to the economic development and therefore puts obligation to reduce current emissions on developed countries on the basis that they are historically responsible for the current levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The protocol's first commitment period started in 2008 and ended in 2012. All 36 countries that fully participated in the first commitment period complied with the protocol. However, nine countries had to resort to the flexibility mechanisms by funding emission reduction in other countries because their national emissions were slightly greater than their targets. A second commitment period was agreed in 2012 after the first commitment period, known as the Doha Amendment to the Kyoto Protocol, in which 37 countries have binding targets. Those countries include Australia, the European Union and its 28 member states, Belarus, Iceland, Kazakhstan, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland, and Ukraine. Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine have stated that they may withdraw from the Kyoto Protocol or not put into legal force the amendment with second round targets. while Japan, New Zealand, and Russia have participated in Kyoto's first round but have not taken on new targets in the second commitment period. Other developed countries without second round targets are Canada, which withdrew from the Kyoto Protocol in 2012, and the US, which has not ratified. As of February 2020, 137 states have accepted the Doha Amendment, while entry into force requires the acceptance of 144 states. Of the 37 countries with binding commitments, 7 have ratified. The main goal of the Kyoto Protocol is to control emissions of the main anthropogenic, that is, human emitted greenhouse gases in ways that reflect underlying national differences in greenhouse gas emissions, wealth, and capacity to make the reductions. The treaty follows the main principles agreed in the original 1992 UN Framework Convention. According to the treaty in 2012, Annex 1 parties who have ratified the treaty must have fulfilled their obligations of greenhouse gas emission limitations established for the Kyoto Protocol's first commitment period. Some of the principal concepts of Kyoto Protocol are binding commitments for the Annex 1 parties, that is, the main feature of the protocol is that it established legally binding commitments to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases for Annex 1 parties. Second, implementation. In order to meet the objectives of protocol, Annex 1 parties are required to prepare policies and measures for the reduction of greenhouse gases in their respective countries. Third, minimizing impacts on developing countries by establishing an adaptation fund for climate change. Fourth, accounting, reporting, and review in order to ensure the integrity of the protocol. And fifth one, compliance, establishing a compliance committee to enforce compliance with the commitments under the protocol. In the coming episode, we are going to discuss about another protocol having different aims and objectives. That's all for today. See you in the next episode. Till then, stay tuned to our channel for more episodes. Thank you for listening. Stay safe.